My name is Jimmy Purdy, shop owner, master tech, transmission builder, and the host of the Gearbox Podcast. Here I talk with new and seasoned shop owners, as well as industry professionals about day-to-day operations within their own shops and all the failures and successes that come along the way. From what grinds your gears to having to shift gears in the automotive industry, this is the Gearbox Podcast. The big story of Apex 2024 this year for the Gearbox Podcast has been coaching, training. I mean, it just makes sense. It's what we're doing. This is like the biggest training event. And it seems like Apex SEMA is just like a big party because you're in Las Vegas. But if you can get through all that, there's like a lot of really good stuff that you can use to elevate your business.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you live here, right?
So I do, yeah. We're on.
You're on,
right?
yeah. We're rolling.
For one moment, I was like, "Are we on?" Yeah,
we're rolling.
No, I am. I'm very fortunate. I get a little bit of that home field advantage there. I'm across town. I'm about 15 minutes away, and so all the different events that have happened, I've been able to just cruise in and then cruise home at night. So
That's pretty nice.
Pretty nice.
Yeah. Especially a big one like this.
Yeah. And if you need a ride to the airport or something, you're ever stuck in an emergency situation, just reach out. I can help out.
Ultimate hookup in Vegas.
You do. Need a restaurant you're looking for, something your favorite, let me know. I'll tell you where the off-strip really good stuff is.
Oh, nice.
So.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to hook up on that stuff. I don't want everybody to know.
No, that's true. Then they'll all go there.
Do you still look forward to when SEMA and Apex roll through town, or is it just another carnival for you?
No, absolutely. I was a tech for 15 years, and then I've spent, what is it? It's over 18 years now, in the, kind of tech space or tech space, coaching space. I was with a management system for a long time. And so as I've kind of been in those different areas, been on the road visiting, the different events for 18 years. And if it's something that you don't love, then that's going to come through. And the thing is, I love the people. I love the folks. I love the interaction. I love that everybody's just real salt of the earth people. So, no, not just another one coming through. I mean, what's the group there? Can I say a brand on here?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't care.
As an example, like ATI, for many years has partnered with them with my old company, Kukui, and I went to 15 super conferences, Puerto Rico twice. Kind of bummed I get to miss Hawaii this year. It looks like a good time, some really good folks, but just everybody in the industry is just really, really great people. And I would have fun and look forward to it, every year. Everything's a little different. If we talk about vision coming up, I'm like, I guess we'll go to Jack Stacks, right? Isn't that what we all do?
Yeah, yeah. It's things you get to look forward to,
Yeah.
Especially here in Vegas, right? Like, there's just something new every time you can come here. So, I mean, other than getting a little burnt out by the third or fourth day, and you're like, I don't ever want to come back again. Next year rolls around, you just can't wait to get here again. Like, oh man, but we're a glutton for punishment in the automotive industry anyway, right?
Yeah.
That's what we do,
And it's all about the shoes, right? That's the secret trick is trade
true.
Your shoes out. If you can keep your feet going good, you can really keep going. How about why don't we work on you and I making a really big California event? That's one thing that's always crazy to me. Yeah. There's so many amazing shops in California, and there's just I've been to the VAA, great. The Virginia Automotive Association. I've been to ASTE. We just saw Mike Allen walking by there. All these ones, I've gone to all of them, and there is the ASCCA one. Love all the folks there in that group, but I just keep thinking, like, right down around your shop, we could have
there's no
5,000 great shops coming through there, and we get some great weather.
Yeah, can't beat the weather, and we got pretty good food too.
Yeah, true. Very true.
I don't know if it's Vegas good, but it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
We're deep in wine country, right in Paso Robles. So you think Napa's good? most people go to Paso and they're like, oh, I didn't even know this place existed, right?
Yeah.
But you can go pretty much anywhere in the country and look on their wine list, and there's a Paso Robles wine on there.
Always.
It's wild, isn't it? I'm like, how is
yeah.
Paso Robles like? It's crazy.
We'll be in the middle of Houston. One of the things we'll go out to dinner and I'll look and it's right there. So I knew right where you were. I was like, oh.
We're kind of on the map. Well, then you got 805, Firestone.
Yeah.
And the Firestone Brewery, I pass it every day on the way to the shop, right?
Oh,
like,
wow.
Like it's right there. And I remember when you could walk in and they would pour your beer out of like the big towers. Like they were almost a microbrewery.
Yeah.
At one point, they were so small and boutique. You go in there and fill a growler.
Yeah.
Like right out of, we just came out with this new red ale or IPA. And we're like, what is that?
Yeah.
Oh, this is gross, right?
Those so good days.
And now they bought the whole block, right? And they got this massive warehouse facility, and it's like, that's wild. Then you go around, you see the 805, brewery beer everywhere, and it's like iconic, and you're like, wow, this is like wild.
Yeah.
Between the wine and the beer, it's what put us on the map.
There you go.
Kind of unfortunate because I like other things to do than just go drinking all weekend, but
everybody thinks I live here and gambling and things like that. And the funny thing is that if you live here, if those are issues that you might have, this is not a place for you to live.
Right.
So now if you don't have issues with those things and you live here, it's golden because kind of everybody comes to town. They all do all their gambling. And the byproduct of that is all that money filters out into just great roads, great cities, great infrastructure.
That's true.
It's
there's always a benefit. Yeah. Just for the locals, it's like, what are we supposed to do other than that, But back to the training thing. I mean, that's the big one, right? Mm-hmm. And it's the importance of it. And we've had training events in our city. We've tried to promote, and I think lack of funding for the promotion may have something to do with it. But then the actual attendance, right? Getting people to actually show up after work at 6:00 and want to stay around till 10, and I cannot blame them for not wanting to do that. Especially a lot of the technicians that probably are underpaid anyway in our area, which is part of the problem as well, right? I mean, if they're only getting paid so much, they're not getting paid to show up for training, and it's after work, and they got a 30-minute commute after. It's like, I got a lot of stuff going against you there, right?
Yeah.
And then you get there, and you actually show up, and the training's just miserable. And you're like, why the hell am I here right now?
That's a tough... being a technician for 15 years and my A6, my A8, my L1, I was licensed in the state of California to small cars. And, I look back, like some of those classes, like, I don't know, they weren't fun. They're not necessarily in the best, area as far as where you're going through the training. And you have to get these things to kind of move up. I was fortunate. I got to spend 2 really good years with Doug Mueller of Tech Help. That was 2 of my years of trade school, and I'm really grateful to him. He was the one that taught me about Ohm's law and kind of all. I was able to pass all those tests once I started understanding the formulas, and then I could go back out to the car, and we're talking about putting a load test on the battery and looking at, hey, this thing's dropping, 2.1 volts. It's got a bad cell. And it was like my mind then suddenly looked at the car and went, whoa, I have a whole different way. But, my first probably 10 years, man, I just couldn't sit still in those classes. They were just tough.
Yeah.
So.
I think most of us have that problem if you're hands-on, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. We all have some sort of ADD. Or I've always said we're all a little bit on the spectrum.
Yeah.
To want to just be in our heads all day fixing these cars, right? So to sit in a chair and listen to this person talk for the next 3 hours. No.
Yeah.
And most of us probably barely made it out of high school because of that, right? I'm a proponent of that. I just could not. Yeah. I just want to go to work. I'd rather than just sit in a class and do that, right? So I think we all have a little bit of that we can relate to.
Yeah.
But it's foundational stuff, And I think if you make training more hands-on, more interactive, that helps a lot too. And I know that maybe sounds like kind of childish, right? Like you can give me blocks to play with. It's like, you know what though? Like Garage Gurus, right? Like they have that big mobile station that rolls around. You got AVI, right? Is it AVI with the vehicle that's cut in half? They got that on display here. And you can see the circuitry. And I think that's really mind-blowing. And you brought up a good point because that's what happens. Once you find that click, oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
So instead of trying to research what part I needed is to fix a problem, you understand why there's a problem, and then you can fix it accordingly, right? Like,
yeah.
it's such a shift, and it's so hard to like get someone to understand that. Like, all the sensors are the same, right? Like, they all, like, all the solenoids, they all operate on the same basic principle.
Exactly, yeah. And you know, now, you know, I haven't been wrenching for many years, and then you have that transition from being mechanic to technician, and it's funny how much connects over, because I can take a look at something and go, well, that's a potentiometer. And that's all that is.
Yeah.
You know, I know exactly, you know, what that is.
Yeah. So,
you know, pretty great crossover there. It crosses over a little bit into our auto shop answers. That's a great thing you're kind of saying there, is that we've had our class, and we can kind of dive into that, like what we do. But in these recent last 3 months, we've really kicked up having the hands-on. So kind of think of it this way, is that there is a lot of coaching programs out there. You have a lot of, say, service writer training. You have, you know, your GM training. There is a lot of things out there. We generally go to a class. There's a workbook. Maybe we're doing some in-class role-playing with call scripts and things like that. We have 26 people this coming weekend, starting from Thursday all the way to Monday. They actually will work in the shop, picking up the phones, working in the management system, creating repair orders, seeing the way that we do it, and all the different pieces of technology, and seeing how we utilize the scripts and how it has to we have to use the scripts. We actually use the Shop Genius call scoring, and we have a kind of our own little secret way that we've done it. We've set it up so that you can actually put your positive words in and your negative words in. And just think about, if you had a new service writer, that we've all had this happen. You have a service writer that's come in, and you find out, it takes a couple months to find out it's not great, and you've spent a lot of time and money, and maybe they're turning people away, as an example. They're picking the phone up and not getting the people coming in. So having some technology like that, this is, again, one piece of technology that lets us see exactly, are they saying keywords that, you know, cause the consumer to not want to visit us.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's very true. So, yeah, I mean, that pivots right into that, and or segues into that, or we'll shift gears into that, right?
Okay, I like it. The gearbox.
That's
perfect.
Right. That's
I love it.
So that's one of the things. So the Auto Shop Answers is one of the things that you're involved with, or is your main stick. So you've gone from technician, you've transitioned to being a shop owner, and you understand all that. So and now you're at the point where you're coaching other shop owners. Now there's a lot of what do you call it? Negativity online with the way y'all conduct
a little bit
your coaching. And I look at it as, man, just pick what you need out of it. You don't need to do all of it, right?
Yeah.
You can do some of it, you can do all of it, whatever. And I think it's important to really just clear the air and like get down to the brass tacks and then really understand, like, is it a fit for you or is it not? Yeah.
That's a great. I think it's a perfect timing for us to kind of meet up and have a great discussion and kind of dive into a couple of those really hot points there. We just had that whole barrage on Facebook there, and it was just, I mean, I looked back, I had 100 comments, and I would say 90% of them were pretty negative, but it's okay. The first thing I said, if you read that one post that came from me, not from Todd, is I said, I don't have a college degree. And it just was like, hey, I'm a mechanic. I'm a mechanic that worked 15 years in a shop, and I have some things that connect up with me that really make me passionate about Auto Shop Answers. If you have somebody who's kind of teaching you or saying, hey, take a look at this, and they have actually lived it, it kind of resonates a little bit better. As far as, well, I'm a coach. I haven't, owned a shop in 20 years, and I haven't worked in the shop. And if you look at our training, Todd, Glenn, and Joe are literally over at the shop working. They walk across the street, and then they start in with class. And they'll be there at 6 a.m. in the morning, kind of get in the shop, all started up, and then like, hey, class, check-in starts at 6:30. I got to run across the street and teach class for 3 days. So bringing that to the table, I think
that's a kind of a behind the scenes look at what's really going on, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the slack was obviously loss leader oil changes. I think is a pretty hot button.
Mm-hmm.
Which you call the rack attack is another pretty hot button, right?
Mm-hmm.
The key callbacks,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which I am not. I mean, out of those three,
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely pick that up. I understand that, right?
Yeah.
So it just starts opening up the onion, the flour, whatever you want to call it. Like, well,
Mm-hmm.
hold on a second. What else here is working for them and why? Right?
Yeah.
And then where are you at with your own personal shop? So I got to look inward. Where am I at with my shop? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And how have I grown in the last 2 or 3 or 5 years? Right? And where would I see myself in 3 years? And any of these processes may be a possibility for me in the next 3 to 5 years, because I think a lot of us get closed-minded, and that will not work tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's fine, right? Like if whatever you're coaching, maybe that's not going to work for you tomorrow. But what does it look like in a year when you need work for 10 technicians?
Mm-hmm.
If you have multiple locations, I have no idea what it's like to be an MSO. And I think the majority of guys don't either,
mm-hmm.
right? And I think the majority of the comments you maybe get are from people that aren't MSOs. Maybe there is some in there.
Yeah.
But it's a different mindset. Is that like the direction that you are trying to capture is MSOs? Or what is your ideal client?
I would say 60% of the folks that come through are not MSOs.
Okay.
And a lot of times too, to everybody out there that's listening, hey, we're just regular people. We're trying to do good on the old Facebook. It's not like social media. We don't have like professional people who do our stuff. We do the best we can. And sometimes we say something that just really is a hot button. And I guess instead of turning into or turning away from it, I'm very much more comfortable with let's just kind of turn into it and kind of get into that. So 60% of the people coming through are going, hey, I only have 3 bays and a couple technicians. You guys have this big shop with, 30 bays, and you guys are doing $1.2 million a month. And is this for me? And so I'll give you a couple of the numbers, and then I think I'd like to start off with a real basic that is, I feel, the biggest hot button. And once I kind of say it, I'm curious if you'll go, okay, I kind of got it, Todd. So we have 8 locations. The other day I said 10. Maybe there's 2 more coming. Who knows? Might have had a little Freudian slip there kind of thing. But we have 8 locations. The average unit last month, I ran the numbers, did $560,000 per month. Okay, this last month. That's the average. To actually get to that level and help that many people with hospitality, there is a lot of things that we have to do that certain shop owners just might be, that's not for me, and that's okay. It's totally, it's okay. The shop owner's happy, their folks are happy. That's all I can really, really always hope for, is that I have a route to being a technician. I've been in the shop where there's no vehicles. I've had to clean my toolbox, clean the floor, pull out the project car, that Mustang we had in the back. We roll out and we all start working on it, and then it gets busy again. We got to roll it back in. That thing was there for like 2 years. So I mean, we've all got one of those back there that we can fill the time with. Well, so let's kind of start with this one. It's more just a statement that kind of gives us the basis, and then we can kind of jump into some of the other things. Is literally the 7-day-a-week thing. So we have this 7-day-a-week, and we have this 4-day week. 4 10s, and what does that look like, and exactly how as far as that hot button goes. So here's the thing, is in nowhere has anybody ever said anything that any individual has to be at the shop 7 days. Not saying that, just saying that consider, as far as hospitality goes, what could be a benefit of being open all 7 days. If you had the right staff, if you had the technicians that would do it, if you had all the procedures and processes, and let's just say hypothetically you did, and it worked really amazing, okay? We mentioned, you were saying Firestone. I was thinking of the actual Firestone.
Oh, the tire carrier.
Yeah, and in town, right up around the corner from me, there's a Firestone. I had to take my car there on a weekend because it was the only shop that was open. And not saying anything bad about a Firestone or anything. There's a lot of guys on that forum that were blowing me up about, well, those shops that work on the weekends are not really great shops. And I'm like, let's take a step back and think of it like this. What if they were great? What if they gave great, amazing customer service? They were open 7 days. What if the technicians that worked, you got a gentleman who loves to fish. So he's like, I love to work Saturday and Sunday. I get on the lake Tuesday and Wednesday when nobody's around. I love it. Maybe somebody has something that they have to do that, their schedule is okay to be different. And some people, like myself, there was a point in my life that I was coaching my son's soccer, and I had to be Monday through Friday. I had practice Tuesdays and Thursdays. We had games Saturdays and Sundays. There is no way I could work more than, say, the 40 hours. So hypothetically, if you had that right crew and they had amazing, customer service and the culture was great, the impact that would have to the community and the shop would be a lot of these big numbers that we put out there and that we see and that we do. Now, if we go to the kind of 4 days a week, the worry that I'm just trying to say is I'm worried for my friends that are kind of taking that 410s and saying we're closed 3 days. I'm worried about that because if that 7 day a week group, we'll call it, if they figure it out, it's tough.
Yeah.
I've said this before. I pray that they don't. I pray they don't figure it out, and so that's kind of if somebody loves to work 4 days, we have people that work 4 days. That's they work 410s. So we subscribe to it. We love it. It's great. I have some people that work 5 days a week, and I have a couple gentlemen that one has like 7 kids, and he works every day. He needs every hour he can get. He is the main provider for the family. And if I was to say, well, for that gentleman, we only have 4 days for you, he would either leave the industry or go find a job that could get him hours. So with all just full peace and love, Jimmy, I'm just saying, just consider if they ever did get that right on the 7 days, I just wouldn't want to hurt my folks out there on the 410s.
It makes sense. There's a lot of valid points, and you can look at, and I'll use this in twofold. So there's a popular convenience store that decided to take a model and decided to be open a little earlier and stay open a little later, right? And we all know them as 7-Eleven, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And they worked really well. Well, then what happens next? AM, PM comes along and they're 24 hours, right? So I'm going to use that in twofold because that's a convenience store. And I think that is what is rubbing a lot of people the wrong way because we are not a convenience store, right? We're highly skilled technicians, and we should force our clients to bend to our schedules and do what we say when we say it because that's the ego, right? Mm-hmm. So it takes a little bit of swallowing your pride a little bit and kind of focusing on what is it that the client needs? What is it that the community needs? And maybe it isn't 24-hour auto repair, and I think that's also that slippery slope of what happens after the 7-day model becomes prevalent. Then are we open 24 hours? Are we doing oil changes at 2 a.m, right? Like, so when do we draw the line, right? And I think that's the fear a lot of us have. I feel like we started moving the right direction in like the technician's eyes when we're talking about like, wow, we're going to go to 312s. That's what I'm talking about, right? 410s. That's fantastic. That's a stressful situation as for me, as a young shop owner that's just barely starting to get my crap together like, well, let's go to 410s. Like, so I got to do everything that I've been doing in 5 days and try to do that in 4 days, right? Even though I have the extra hours, well, I hope all my appointments show up because how many times have you scheduled a day and half the people don't show up, right?
Yeah,
could you imagine that happening on a 312 and I'm imagining it on a 410. So we're definitely going to stay 5 weeks, but then who even built that, right? So Henry Ford did it with the assembly line. So we're just kind of this old, outdated, antiquated kind of, system there. And I think also I look at it as not having that staff. Maybe that's where a lot of it comes from too. Like, there's no way I could be open 7 days because then I have to be there for 7 days.
Yeah.
And it's really tough for me to even think about what you're talking about without me actually showing up for 7 days a week.
Yeah.
My wife's the same way. Like 410s, right? I don't want to be there for 10 hours every day.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's that. And so we're just not there yet.
Yep.
We just don't have the systems. We don't have the processes. We don't have the staff. We don't have any of that stuff, right? And I talk about, because I see it all the time. And this is a great point, and I wanted to bring this up because I have my technicians doing a lot of side work, right? Friday evening, they're loading up their tools, their handbags, and they're taking off. And I can hear them during the day. They're talking about this job, this head gasket they're doing, or this brake job. You know what? I know a lot of guys just lose their mind when they hear that, but I get it, right? I was there. I was a technician. Yeah. Like, you know what? If you can go make a couple $100, on your time, dude, do it up, right? And that client's probably not someone that's going to want to come to our shop anyway. Right?
Yeah. If you read in that thing, and this is, I think, where it was really hitting a nerve with some folks, because I know what I'm talking about. I was like, ask them if they have a nice compressor. I had a nice compressor at my house because I worked at the shop, and then I would go home and have to do side work to offset, and sometimes we'd go do the side work, make a couple $100, like you said, and that would be what me and my wife would go do something fun with. I mean, let me go get this job done. I could also, this is pretty powerful too, as you understand. You can go work and do side work, and let's say you want to go on a vacation. I can go make money on demand. And the fight of that is not fun working in the garage all the time.
It's not sustainable.
It's
not a sustainable thing.
Yeah.
And I have some young technicians, and I try to explain to them, like, you need to spend time with your family. You don't need to be going home and working, right? Like, and they don't. I mean, I'm sure they understand it 100%, but I don't think they fully grasp it.
Yeah.
And once you put yourself, it's like, what do they say? Your cost of living always rises. So even though it starts as side work and fun money, all of a sudden that is starting to be calculated into your budget. So then you need to do it over and over. And now you're working 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I had brought up the comment to my wife about maybe we should be open on Saturdays. Maybe we'll do a half day on Saturdays so the guys don't have to go. What if they get ripped off? Right? How many times do they do side work and it's like, I'm not paying you for that? Or they're putting themselves in legal liability, really, which they really don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, dude, if you do something, right, like, someone could get hurt and then you have no protection, right? So I was thinking, well, what if we can do Saturdays and help one of my guys out because he's in the middle of a move and he needs some extra cash. So no, I don't want to do that. And it's because she doesn't want to go down there on a Saturday, and neither do I.
Totally understand.
We're just not staffed for it.
Yeah.
But the immediate response is no, right?
Yeah.
Well, then no, why? Well, because I don't want to be down there. Like, oh, I see,
Yeah, you have to work out that formula. Like, is there a way that you could be there, not there on Tuesday, and then she could not be there on Wednesday, and one of you, let's take a look at this from a different way too. And this is where a lot of folks have to come through class. And when they come through class, I always get the same thing. They go, man, I was reading about you guys on Facebook and reading this, and I had my own like prejudgments. And once I came through, I realized this is all about hospitality, and it's all about culture. Nobody here is unhappy. They're not overworked. They're not upset of the work that's happening. They're happy. They are, when we say like all the hours they could use or they need, just in those examples I had, that would have been amazing, because at certain points in my life, I needed every hour I could get. It really is. Trying to buy a house. I had a newborn. I was trying to build the savings. There was times in my life where I was just a knucklehead where 40 hours hit. I was out. I had things to go do on the weekend. We got football. I get it. I totally get it. So this industry is an amazing industry. We are so fortunate. It's such great industry full of great people. When you look at some of the other industries and you go, hey, I'm not knocking other industries. I'm just saying, for me personally, I don't want to be like doing roofing. It's just not my thing. I don't want to be up there on a roof. I don't want to do that. Okay. Not knocking dentists. I'm not saying that. My wife's a dental hygienist. I get it. but I don't want to be in somebody's mouth cleaning their teeth all day. It's not my gig.
Right.
And so I love the problem that is put before me with the vehicle, and then putting together a game plan, and then figuring it out and executing that, and then helping that family where they're like, I'm going to drive this thing to Disneyland right now. And with confidence, I can say, you're fine. Yeah, I checked everything, you know. So kind of breaking down two things that I think might be a great takeaway for you in this, you know, for your personal shop and everything. So one of the things we really do in class is we'll take a city somewhere in the United States, we'll pick one in class, and we will start calling shops. And we will have a problem car that we set up, and we will call that shop, and we will ask them, you know, can we bring the car in? And, you know, class before last, we went through 19 phone calls, 19 shops said, no, I'm booked 2 weeks out. I can't get to it. You know, can you drop it off tomorrow? Let me try to book a time for you to come in. And it was, and we're kind of, here you have 65 shop owners is looking and listening. We're all silent. We're all listening. And you can see they're kind of, it's starting to click in their head. Everybody's saying no, 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 no. And one of the things that we train is I need all of that negative script, all of that the industry has taught and has been doing for years. Get rid of all that. I want you to think just ultimate hospitality, almost like medical, if you will. It's, hey, I have this problem. I need to go into emergency. Absolutely. Come on in, you know. Sorry, you lost a limb. We can do nothing for you. Come back in 3 weeks. Like, I'm booked for a week. Like, that's not going to work. So I know that's a bit extreme there, but you'll hear in all of our shops this phrase, which is absolutely is now a good time to bring it in. And we tell everybody to go, man, this is like drinking from a fire hose. We just had 3 days of every piece of technology you guys use, every single script, every single process, every single thing you guys do to have these shops do 560,000, you know, on average every month across 8 stores, every piece. So when you're looking at that and taking all of those pieces, the one thing we tell them is, you start with a take 5, different subject. We don't have time to get into that, but go back and just say yes. And so north of you is Sam Burridge, Santa Rosa Transmission. He's in his 3rd month with us. He's been working with other companies for many years. He came through and he called me and he's like, I'm having the busiest time I've ever had. And I said, what did you do different? He goes, we're just saying yes. He goes, my lot guy just ran in, and he goes, stop. He goes, we have no more parking spot. I don't know where the people keep pouring in. I don't know what to do. Like, and so there's so many things that happen with that is that imagine that at all of your guys' shops out there, suddenly this flood of cars come in. Talk about the shock to the system. The technicians suddenly have to start working a lot, or we're going to need more technicians. We're going to need a lot to take on that level of work. So, you know, I consistently have that where people are like, I went to your class, I'm having my best month ever. No, it's not easy. I hear that too. Hey, you got to warn people. This is work. This is really, really hard work. And I'm like, well, I mean, work is work, right?
Yeah, it's a tough concept to wrap your head around. I mean, and to your point, like, yes, like what are we trying to do, right? And when you're in the shop and you have like the 345,000 different things you need to do, and then every 5 minutes you're being pulled away in a direction that does not benefit those 345,000 things you need to be doing, right? It's very frustrating. And then when someone comes, and then when you get a phone call and they want to bring, and you already have a week of work, you're like, the last thing I need is more people, right?
Yeah,
you're just trying to get through the pile that you already have. And you don't really look at that long term, even though you do, you definitely do. But you know what I mean? You're so stressed and so anxiety ridden. You're like, in that moment, I just need to get the hell out of here. And so in order for me to leave today, I have enough shit I need to do.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
In fact, I have enough for the end of the week. And that's it. That's all I want to think about. And really, it's not like anybody's fault. I think it's your own brain just trying to like cope with the situation, right?
Yeah.
It's just a coping mechanism. I'm done. We're done.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do this anymore, right? And how many of us like gotten so frustrated we're just like, anybody want to buy this freaking place, right? Like,
that definitely.
Maybe that just like works for somebody, right?
that definitely happens. And you paint a great picture there too. And I've lived it. I get it. Like, I lived for that Friday. Once I got off work, there was all the stress that went away. I went, oh. And Saturday was such a great day. Maybe sleep in a little bit, do some fun stuff. But Sunday would come along, there'd be a little bit of dread because I got to be up early. Monday is like already there.
Yeah.
And there literally is a culture, and there is a way, and I can promise you it's there. Just come to Houston for a weekend. Just come once. Don't put you in the back of the classroom. No stress. Just come. But you go through and you're like, whoa. And you're going to hear these shop owners that go, gosh, I came to this as Auto Shop Answers and I fell in love with my business again. I didn't realize, I don't want to be doing roofing. I don't want to be doing dental. Like, this is an awesome business. And I have some people out there too that we'll talk kind of religious reasons. We'll just say that big word, like that Sunday isn't a fit for them. That's all right. Totally. Again, our message is just looking at that hospitality as much as we can give. I'm not saying that somebody at 410s is not giving it. I'm more or less just saying be careful if this guy with 7 days is able to be there and your great customers swing by and the experience is so great that you don't return. And that happens. If we start thinking about different things in our lives that are 7 days, airport, we can fly anywhere, 7 days a week. Hospitals open 7 days a week. Well, nobody loves going to the hospital. Terrible example. But grocery store. The grocery store is, and maybe where I live, I don't know. Across the nation, are they all open at least 7 days? Usually. Yeah.
More populated areas.
Yeah. But start thinking of those things if they were only open 5 days. And kind of feel that as an inconvenience. The next time you go somewhere and you're like, oh, like post office, that's something. I work all week, work all week. Sometimes I get a day off on Saturday and I need to go drop something off the post office and it's closed. I'm like, it's such an inconvenience. Like, can you please be open on the weekend so I can drop off my stuff? But, kind of thinking of that, I guess. How about I never thought about this. Are the parts stores like an AutoZone or Napa? Are they open 7 days?
O'Reilly's is open 7 days.
O'Reilly's is okay.
Napa's not.
Napa's not.
Well,
okay.
They're recently corporate, right? So they've made a lot of changes. But when they're privately owned, no. They can pretty much be open when they want. In our town, anyway, we have an O'Reilly's that's open 7 days. So
okay.
You can go there. Yeah. So that's a good segue into using that as a model, right? And obviously, most are going to think you're just doing this for the money, right?
Yeah.
Like it's obviously you're open 7 days because you're trying to squeeze every dollar out of every transaction that you can. So if you're that profitable 5 days, we can be that much more profitable in 7.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to let you in on a little secret, Jimmy, and this is the one where it's hard when I say Jimmy because I want to call you Jim. My dad's name was Jim, and I'm always like, so such a comfortable favorite word for me, and here's that secret. What if you actually, all of that hospitality that you're giving, all of that, revenue that we say that's coming in, what if you put that back into the employees? What if they had college funds for all of their kids mandatorily that is set up and that money goes into 401k matching? What if you had amazing medical and dental, really good stuff? Everybody is assuming that somebody is just hoarding the money. And when you walk through the shop or any of our shops you go through, you're looking at all these smiling people and you're like, wow, they're so happy. And that clicking starts happening. They're like, oh my gosh, these guys are putting it back into the team. And it's causing the team culture to be so great that these guys love being at work on the weekend or all the. It's because they're able to have a better quality of life than maybe somebody who doesn't have those opportunities. And that goes back to what I was saying, even myself, was it was tough for me because I saw friends and stuff who had these big college degrees and stuff go buy a house. And, sometimes I got that feeling. They were like, you're just a mechanic, you go, you work. Like, it's so much harder for me to buy a house. And I'm like, I just need the hours. I actually worked a side job. I'm not a side. I had to go get a second job and do side work. And there was a gentleman who said, hey, that was a little while ago. There's some really great paying jobs out there for techs now. And that's awesome. I'm really, I'm really, really happy about that. I might have missed that mark. It sounds like that was awesome. I had a great stall that I was in. I loved my toolbox was organized. Music was good. I got in my zone. I was a Toyota technician and a Chevy technician. I did unfortunately have to work on some Saabs, which can be those older Saabs. Brittle wiring was brutal. Volvos I had to work on. And then that's kind of the way we set it up. The gentleman next to me was Hondas, and the gentleman next to him was Fords. So kind of brought in specialties of each of us. And we had eight racks. At one point we had 8 techs, but I think we are most comfortable with 6 because we get an engine job, tying up a rack or something. So, yeah.
Seems like it worked.
Yeah.
And that brings up the next thing, too, that kind of gets a lot of flack is the rack attack.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Kind of go through that process a little bit and how you've seen that work.
Yeah. So I'm going to kind of tell you the way we do it and tell you kind of break down how the industry keeps seeing it. So Todd Hayes was at home and he was looking at watching Daytona. He lives in Daytona, so he's watching the races. And one of those days, he was just watching the way that this team would go over the wall and rip those tires off and inspect that whole vehicle and get that race car right back on the road instantly. And I mean, aren't we down to like seconds now? It's some insanity.
Insane, yeah.
It really is. So speed of service in any single industry is it really will elevate any business. So you think of it, if you've ever been in a restaurant, you're just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. I'm sorry, us as Americans, we don't like to wait. You go to other countries, it's all right. But here, I don't want to wait. So any industry, speed of service is critical. So he was looking at that and said, if I redid the inspection process, and that's what became the rack attack, and have them go after the car with an intensity to it, have a complete process where we have low rise, mid rise, high rise, exactly how we go front to back. And it's exactly the same process, same inspection every single time. And we use technology that helps us get that inspection done the way that we do that, which is looking for only the reason that the consumer came in first. We don't want to overload them, or what we call, the industry does a lot of kitchen sinking, that 300 rule kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So the 300 rule thing, I will say this, all the listeners, very, very clear. It works, but it will only take you so far. Okay. You can slam them with every single thing that they need. You will write up 50% of the repair orders or create them, and 50% of them won't get done. If you just focus on what they first say yes, and then focus also on what it is they came in for, the consumer's really happy because they're like, oh, by the way, you're out of brakes, your tires, this, you need wiper blades, you need all this. And I'm like, whoa. My AC doesn't work. Let's just start there. You're hitting me with everything. So that whole rack attack, you've seen the videos of it, and people are going, man, I don't have 4 technicians that go and attack a car. There's no way I could do that. Doesn't make sense. These guys have a bunch of technicians. So if I was to open a shop right now, okay, I would do, the rack attack would be happening, but here's the aha moment. I would be open on Saturday, probably open the doors at 7, so I get my coffee and wake up at 6 and just kind of, I need a little bit of time. Crack those doors open at 7, and I'd probably go to about 2 p.m. is my first year as I'm just getting rolled out and getting the right staff. I would do all the rack attacks myself, and I don't need a technician there. I'm just doing intake. I'm just saying yes on the phone. Absolutely, come down, okay? I'm then going to take all of these vehicles, okay? I'm going to help that consumer get in a rental car, get them into a loaner car, get them in an Uber home, take care of their transportation concerns. So if we think about the consumer is, again, we talk about speed of service, we talk about inconvenience. What they're really worried about is the inconvenience. What do they always ask? When is this going to be done? Okay, that is the first thing on their mind. Me personally, this happened to us. It was last year, and both cars happened to be down. And I told my wife, I said, "Man, we gonna go grocery shopping." I was like, "Oh," I said, "Oh man, we gonna get the girls to school. How are we gonna get the girls back and forth?" And I remember it was such a aha moment. We were having a discussion about the inconvenience of the transportation, not about what it needed, not about the pricing of it, not about any of that. Kind of knew what the vehicle was going to need to get fixed, and didn't really have an idea what the time was, but of that inconvenience. So if we think about that, going back to what I just said, like, really, so you would just be, we didn't just get to a point where we had 4 people or 2 people, attacking a rack attack kind of thing. When we started, there was 1 person on a regular rack going through doing that inspection, and then getting all of that work, we'll say, approved. And for the technician, what do technicians like to do? They like to work on cars. I would have to do this inspection for like an hour. Get in, do the inspection, put it up on the rack, put the wheels back on it, take it out, write up the repair order, go sell the work. Oh, this customer doesn't want it. Oh, they're coming back to pick it up. They'll bring it next week. No, they're not. They're take it somewhere else down the street. Go take a look at it. You can take a look at that Identifix or whatever the one is online there and see if the work got done elsewhere. So if we break that down, if you go into the 1010 location with Adams, there'll be 4 speed racks there. You'll have 2 people on each one of those, and they're just inspecting the vehicles. If you go to any of our other locations, there'll be 1 speed rack, and there'll be 2 people inspecting the vehicles, okay? Now, here's the bump to kind of prep the audience for, because they will definitely go, what are some problems we could run into? That technician coming up going, didn't need this. Why did you sell this? Kind of thing.
Right.
Right. And so I want you all to just ask yourself honestly, okay? And I didn't do this out of like maliciousness or poor morals or something, but there was a time that there was one of those sobs and the rear brakes were bad, and they're a pain to do. You got to get the little screws that go in the back to get the pad pressure just right, or you'll burn the brakes out. And I kind of looked at it and I said, oh, it's probably inside. I probably knew, I'm being honest with you, Jimmy, probably knew it was close to 10%. But maybe I leaned that it was 15%, okay? Maybe there were some of those Subarus that had up in the air, and I looked at those transverse engines and the valve cover gaskets. I thought, leaking is all right, okay? Take that out of the technician's hands, okay? So we do the inspections, we find what's wrong, and we give it to the technician, and they just do the work. They're just knocking out the work all day long, and they love it. They're like, once they kind of understood and trusted the person doing the inspection, that nobody was ever overselling or doing anything morally wrong, now we kind of start folding that onion back, or opening the onion, like you were saying right at the beginning of this, of, okay, what if it is all culture? What if it is all morally great? What if all this money is going back into the folks and they're having an amazing life? Maybe you guys aren't so bad, right? I mean,
there's a lot of nuances to chew on, right? To think about, and obviously nobody knows unless you see it and you've been through it, right? So I don't think anybody can have a true opinion. Well, you can have an opinion, but I don't think you really know until you're involved in the process, right? And I think for one, we've been trained one way. For another, those other trainings are very easy to latch on to, right? Like the 300% rule. That just makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I can agree that sometimes we focus on the wrong part of the conversation, and we have an advisor before they even tell them that why the AC is not blowing cold, that you also need $4,000 worth of maintenance work, right?
Yeah.
And that's the bad part about it, right? And that happens, and that's just training. That's just make sure the advisor training. That makes sure that your processes are in place. That you're like, first things first. You need AC, and we found you're low on charge. We're going to recharge whatever it needs to fix the AC. Also, here's the other item. So that's an easy adjustment. We can fix that with the 300% rule. The other thing is having the technician who repairs the vehicle actually inspect the vehicle, right? Because that can create a whole bunch of chaos as well. Really hard to hold someone accountable if you have one person inspecting the vehicle and you have someone else doing those recommendations on the inspection. Obviously, there has to be processes in place to make sure there's accountability held somewhere.
Yep.
Right? And we all know the technician that's a prima donna that's like, these gaskets aren't leaking.
Yes.
Or,
yes.
hey, you didn't tell me this thing. It needs to remain sealed. You didn't see this, you idiot? Like,
yeah.
So, but that's a real thing. Like, that's a human thing, and we're never going to not have that, right? And not it's a bad thing, because the dude's probably a rock star, and he's probably absolutely right. He's just got a bad attitude, and that's fine. That's how he is. So, or she, right? Like, we're just, like, beggars can't be choosers, right? Like, if you got a technician that wants to show up and do work, he's going to do work. You know? And maybe the culture's a little off, but, if everyone gets along with him and he follows along. But what I'm getting at is, like, there's always going to be stuff that slips through the crack, and I think that's the things for me, I latch onto when you're talking about this rack attack. And when I think about it, I'm like, man, I see so many problems, but also, and this is a great thing that I took away from this event, that's all we look for as technicians, right? Is problems. And most of us are technicians turned shop owners.
Yeah.
How many times do we look at a vehicle and we're like, hey, this is some really nice tires you got here?
It's a great point.
If we're always looking for negativity and the negatives, when you bring up a new process that might kind of rub people the wrong way or changes that, do you think maybe it's because we're all just constantly looking at what's broken and what might not work?
Yeah.
Because that's how our brains have been wired for the last decade. That's a
great point. That is my major takeaway from this whole weekend, is what you just said there. Just thinking on that is, wow. It just kind of, know your audience. It's not that they're just trying to bash on you. They're trying to break it down and fix it, and that's how we're looking at it. Yep. I mean, we've all been on our back underneath the dashboard, trying to get trying to solder that wire correctly, and not using a butt connector kind of thing, and it's your back is killing. It does not feel good. It's not a great. And so when sometimes you look, you're thinking, oh no, like I know what this is just, your mind is just going to, a negative place instead of, I'm going to get up underneath there. I know where this is. My diagram matches perfectly. It's the red wire. I can do a voltage drop on that.
Just get it done and move on.
Get it done. Yeah. So that's a really, really great point.
Yeah, I just feel like that's a lot of it. And we talked a lot this week on the show about the mindset and having that negativity and not understanding the whole picture, right? And really having that as like your mindset, right? And trying to pull that back a little bit and use what you can instead of being so, I guess, I don't know what the word for it is. I can't find it right now, but quick to decide or have that, just decide, nope, that's not going to work for me and I'm moving on, right? And there's a lot of things that you're using that's working. The bottom line here is like, obviously what you're doing is working for you. So is that a bad thing for you to like share with people that? So that's the one thing that rubs me wrong is when someone is sharing their success and there's a lot of negativity about it. I don't understand that. I don't understand it at all.
I haven't been able to figure that out either. And we talk about that a lot in our own dinners at when we're together on the weekends. Like, wow, we just, like, we're doing a terrible job at just talking to the industry. I mean, we're going to have Nicole Benioff, which is Subi guys. She changed the business to Empowered Automotive. She was just on the cover of I don't know if I can say, the Ratchet and Wrench magazine.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
There, yeah.
No, Chris is like, dude, that dude is like a genius.
Yeah.
So, holy crap, man! I've had him on the show. I'm like,
yeah,
dude, you're like.
That's right. That's right.
I had him on too early in the morning because I couldn't keep up with that guy. I'm like, dude, you're on another planet right now.
He came out and went through the whole process, and he was blown away. He was like, whoa. He sat with Todd and broke down 12 different articles that he was going to write. But he was just like, in the statement is, once you see it, you can't unsee it. You go, wow, now I get what they're doing. But anyways, Nicole just broke 300K for the first time ever in the history of the shop in a month. And it wasn't easy. She had to change a lot of things. They had to be on top of their game every single step of the way. And she called me and she goes, Todd, she goes, and people are very proud. We've had 14 people break 300K for their first time. I think Harrison Russ broke 400K for both of his shops recently, and we have folks who broke 500K. But the 300K group in a month, okay, she called and we're just having kind of a conversation, and I go, I know I don't want to say this, Nicole, but I'm just going to have to say it. I need you to open for 2 of those days on Saturday and do it. Let's get it done. You're right there. She hit like 292 and then 294. And she comes to the back of the classroom with me and she goes, okay, so I'm here next month. So I hit 294. I'm seeing the 300K award. And I was like, 300K is 300K. Like, I can't fudge it for you. You got to do it.
That's where the bar is drawn.
That's where the bar is.
Yeah.
And Kevin Hughes out of Yonkers, Hughes Automotive, he just broke 300K. You'll see it online because you follow us and see the awards and the pictures. And he called, and I mean, soon as he did, and all of us are cheering and so excited. It's not about, again, it's going to be so hard to get through the industry on this. The 300K is, call it, if you really understand all the work that it would take to get there in a month, it has to be morally right. It has to be about hospitality. It has to be about staying 15 minutes extra to help that person kind of get the car in. It has to be about focusing on the consumer's concern of just their transportation needs, helping them through that. We've had people we've had run down and get like their dry cleaning. They're like, man, if I turn my car off, how am I going to do this? I can't get my dry cleaning. I got to get on a plane for this. And we're like, let's work this through together. Where's your dry cleaning? Okay, let's get you there. We can get you to the airport. Like, it has to be that level to get to that level. We would be out of business if our moral compass wasn't on that perfect,
the
faith-based, if you will.
Yeah.
Yes, there's no way you would just you can't look at the reviews and see that also. Like, wow, they have a lot of great reviews. Imagine if you ever read that shop that's like not doing great. The reviews, they're not great. You can read about it. So, I'm just going to keep trying. I'm going to keep trying and just keep with open arms. A couple of the folks in those forums I had to talk to and say, just come out. Just come out. And we have a guarantee. The guarantee is that if you come out and if by the end of the first day you're like, I hate this, I'll refund you everything back. It's fine. Okay. It's never happened. And everybody has got to the end of the first day and they're like, huh. This is different than what you think. And I think from my seat, the message, I hear the message, I get it. But you made a great point, is like the way that I'm kind of coming at the audience is like, we're going to take it. We're problem fixers.
Yeah.
You're putting a problem in front of us, not a solution.
Right.
We're going to pick that apart and try to mess with it.
Well, it's like I can find all the problems because the best technicians in the world, that's what they do. They find what the problem is. Mm-hmm. So to like kind of puff up your chest, right? And
yeah.
And to like show your ego and show like, I can find the problems.
Yeah.
This, and this is what's wrong. And there's nothing really wrong with that. Cause like I said, that's what we're wired to do. Right. And without that, we'd be in a bad place. Like, you know, like in the automotive industry, cause that's the people that need to call out. And that needs to happen. That process of elimination needs to occur, right? When we get a new parts vendor, we get whatever new software is coming out. Like we need that to like shove in the, like, did you think about this? Did you think about that? Sometimes it comes across a little negative, but that's the one thing I like about negative reviews that I've come to find in the last few years is like, that's really valuable information. Some of it is just garbage.
Yeah.
But like, if you can put your blinders on and to put your ego away for 2 seconds and be like, wait a second, let me read through this here. Let me see what happened here. These people are giving you free advice, like, and real raw, like most people that get upset about something, they don't say nothing.
Yeah.
So like for them to actually vocally like say, hey, this is what happened. This is how I feel. I mean, they are paying your check, right? Like they're the ones that pay your rent. So like if they're not happy, maybe it is something you're doing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I just like to look at it different. Another thing I wanted to ask you too was you had brought up Mike Allen.
Yeah.
Was the free diag thing.
Oh,
and how much slack that's getting. And I just want to get, as we get down to the end of this thing, wrapping it up, I just want to get your honest opinion on how you feel and if that's something that you're teaching as well in your class.
Yeah. So, and that's something, again, fundamentally, you have to think of over all these years, we have technology processes, we have ways that we have been trained, we have different coaching programs that have taught this the same way for 30 years as an example. And how could we ever give away the inspection? There's just no way. There's no way. So think of it this way, that what if the service writer or the person who's selling the job, if you will, what if 95% of the people they talk to that actually closed? Okay, they actually, I hate to use that word closing, sorry. Erase that one. It's a salesy bad word.
It's a close ratio. That's the only way you can monitor that KPI, right?
Yeah. And so the reason that it's a rub is that if we're closing at 50%, which is very normal in the industry, hey, if we're up like 54, 60%, you're a hot shop. Like that's pretty good.
Solid,
yeah, solid. And you have to stop and think about it and go, well, 40% of the repairs you're writing, you're losing. They are going somewhere else. There's something you're doing wrong. They're not just not getting fixed.
Right.
There's something in that process that's making a massive amount of them go somewhere else. So if that person was closing at a high ratio, the hour, we just give it to the tech. Doesn't matter. They're so confident it's not a concern. I understand in the shops where that is not set up in the way that we do it, they couldn't do that. It is a concern, and a valid concern. I get it. Mike has been through our class. I think this is his 8th time. He booked for January. I think he was slammed for December. But he's come through and taking each of those pieces and having his those best months. So that there's so many parts of that are so long, and I'm trying to be careful of what I say because you need all of those to have that aha moment. Oh, I get it. There is a level of hospitality that if we back up for a quick second, that also has to be there with the consumer. If we think about when we first opened our doors, the first people that came through, we are so grateful and we remember them, and they've been coming to us for 20 years. We absolutely love Mr. Johnson. I love him. He's great. And now I'm doing his daughter's car, and I was there before she was even born, and like all those things. But if we're closing at 50%, and we kind of start getting a little bit of a negativity of like, this is people just coming in. I don't have that bond with them because 50% of them aren't going to buy.
Yeah.
And that's tough to build that relationship if that's kind of in the back of your mind. We don't have that. We don't have that problem across our 8 shops and the shops that we're teaching. They're like, oh, we get it. We're starting to not have that problem also. So they're taking the time to build that really great relationship with that consumer, because at some point they're going to have to say, here's something that you need, and it's my professional obligation to not let you go drive out on the road. Like, let's work together and get this fixed. And so so that part also has to be there, because then the free inspection isn't such a big concern, because the consumer has such a great rapport, and they love the shop. They're like, wow, this is something too that was very big. And the first time I saw it, I was like, man, that's legit. Like, I was like, is the new customer tour of the shop. So as you come in, like, just imagine, first you're greeted with just such understanding that the person in front of you is in distress. They're not there because they want. No, I don't go to the dentist because it sounds fun.
Right.
I'm in distress. I do not want to be there. And so the times I've had to take my car in and something's, broke on it, and I'm like, oh man, this is a mess. I gotta fly. I dropped the car off. Can't fix it myself. So I'm in distress, and I don't need somebody who's grumpy or in my face, or I can't do it, or I can't help you, or this or that. It's like, man, listen, I'm all ready. So if they're coming at me almost like, hey, I just saw you get out of the car. It looks like your arm is broken because it's pointing the other direction. How can I help you? Let me get the door for you. So imagine have them coming in, walking through, going, here's actually our service writer team, and they kind of wave and smile. Over here's our waiting room. Kind of want to take you through. I'm going to take you on a tour of the shop and just kind of show you, how we run the shop, the different levels of technology that we have, the cleanliness of the shop. That's also very important too. The professionalism of somebody giving you a tour and speaking to you in that very professional level. It gives that consumer so much trust in, one, if they go anywhere else, okay? And I have seen this. I mean, they hand you the repair order, there's grease all over it. Here's your keys. The floor mat's there. How many of us, take the floor mat, open the door, throw it on the ground to drive away? The car is pulled up. The door is open. We go in. We get the consumer, our family member, because we treat everybody like a family member. We as we've already gone through an invoice review with them, so they feel comfortable with it. Every single line item they have to understand and feel comfortable. How many times do we take the repair order, we push it across, keys, okay, let's run the bill, it's $4,800.
Your total's at the bottom.
We're nervous because it's once you get bit, your guard's up, and I understand that.
It's like, what was it, once bitten, twice shy?
Yeah, right. Exactly. You're
I think a lot of them don't think they have that shop, right, to do a tour. Most of them don't think they're worth that. That big repair bill.
They
are.
They
are. Yes,
they're great people.
Yes, all these shops. I mean, and you might be thinking the one that not you personally, but whoever's listening. I don't have a shop I can do a tour with. I'm sure it's a lot nicer than most, right?
Yeah.
And even if it's not, if you're still willing to open the doors, like, this is the best I can do at this moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe someone's willing to, spend more money with you, so you invest in you, right? Like, and you can tell them, hey, one day I'm really hoping to redo my floors. One day, and I think that's missed too. I think that's really missed. And one of the other takeaways I had from this weekend was calling when you're slow and just saying, hey, look, we're really slow and I'd like to keep the guys busy. There was some deferred work. Would you be willing to bring your vehicle in and support us? Like, we could really use the help. And I think that's really hard for a lot of guys to do that.
Yeah.
Right? And girls, I mean, whoever you are as a shop owner, like, just to say, hey, we're not really meeting our goals. And instead of just being honest about it, they try to find another way to manipulate the situation, to bring cars in, or or to hide something. And even though they're being transparent, they're like, well, shove all that shit in the corner so when someone shows up, they don't see it, right? Like, just show it. Like,
I know, hiding the cores behind something, it doesn't look pleasing to the eye. You're like, completely get it. That is something too, is that the shop isn't perfect. That's all right. If you came into my house, I mean, I got one bathroom that needs to be redone upstairs. It's not great, whatever, But if I'm just honest with you about it, hey, listen, this is our waiting room. Maybe we have a nice little flat screen TV in there that shows. Maybe it's a little coffee center and that. Hey, I have this done. We are looking at doing the floors sometime. I don't know when. They are a little kind of dirty, so I apologize on that. But just to let you know, that's something that's important to us, and it's something we're continuing to work on. But I do want to show you, here's where our scanners are. These scanners are the top technology that you need, So
just whatever.
Great point.
It reminds me of like when you have a guest over, and the wife's like cleaning around like under the toilet and like under the, like, what are you doing right now? Like they think the guests are gonna come over and like, I found the dirt. I found it's dirty. Oh my God, do you keep your washing machine this dirty? Like no one's even going in the laundry room.
Exactly.
Why are you cleaning like this right now?
It's a great point.
It's a human instinct, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm never letting anybody in my house unless it's perfect. Like nobody lives in a freaking perfect house.
yeah. And so one thing you brought up, I want to touch base on just again real quick, was a great thing was
Sure.
Callbacks. So we got to a point, and Todd Hayes teaches on this. We have a whole segment on it, very, very important, on callbacks, next day callbacks, satisfaction surveys, and also pre-books and decline service, kind of all of that. Okay, so I get it. Nobody in the United States has any time to have the service writer call through. We're busy. We're slammed. I totally understand. On top of that, if we do have that technology, we are trying to keep track of it. As we're getting to those people, what happens is we then get busy and then we don't do it. So Glenn talks about this when he's teaching. He's like, listen, I'm starting to call through this list. We just had this process. We get slammed. I stuff the list underneath a pile of papers there, and we get to a point it slows down. I look over at that list. I pull that list back out. Man, I'm going to call these people, kind of thing. And he was like, the thing is, what needs to happen is the calls need to happen when we're busy, not when we're slow. Okay, if the calls are happening when we're busy, because somebody was just posting, I was reading about like the slow times, and I'm like I don't mean this in any, again, peace and love, not arrogance, no ego, nothing, just we don't have slow times. We'll have slower times, but we don't have slow times because we have a full call center. We have over 50 shops that work with us that are other independent shops. A lot of them are just single location, that we do all their next day callback, satisfaction callback, on top of that pre-book, all of those things as far as getting their state inspection set up. So when you see that, you come through and you actually go to the call center and watch a call center, again, that whole aha goes like, whoa. So this the last month, we did, and I'm giving the truthful one, which is last month, but the month before that it was a lot bigger, so a little bit quieter last month. We pre-booked over $500,000 in services tracked that would not have come in. We literally have a very strict rule of how we track that, how we just how we track it, so you can see. And that was something too where I looked at and I said, wow, that's like opening a shop within a shop. There's no brick and mortar to it, but there's $500,000 of pre-books and inspections and all of those things booked through doing those calls. So there is something very important about it. I think I understand the industry where it's hard. Love him or hate him, whatever. I used to be the CEO of Kukui for 7 years. One of the things that I built was a next day callbacks, and it just took what was coming up in the future 90 days decline services, and it pulled it up from your system and showed a list of who you could call. Okay, nobody had time to do it. I mean, the guys would try. It became punishment.
Yeah,
it was like, on Tuesday you're gonna have to go call this. Do 20 calls a day.
It's pretty awful,
sounds
man.
Awful,
it
man.
Is so awful.
It is.
I hate cold calls, man.
And so now imagine you have 14 now, hiring 2 more. We'll be at 20 here the next 90 days. professional people who are making 100 calls a day. They're comfortable with it. This is their wheelhouse. You know, me and you, it's not our wheelhouse. I want to go fix a problem in the car. Okay. I don't want, you know, oh, well, I'm really glad you called. You know, I'm still hearing it clicking. Oh man, I'm really sorry about that. Let's get you back in. Let's, you know, that's what they're trained to do. That's where they're really, really comfortable. We have so many calls that we play back too that are so good where the customer goes, are you just calling to check in on me? Like, whoa, my whole life, no automotive shop has ever called to check in on me after. Again, to the industry, I understand. We don't have time.
Well, we're a little scared to hear about the clicking that's still there too, right?
Yeah. I mean, I get it. If I have 100 people, 100 of my clients back at my shop that I can think of, I had those front 30 that just set the keys and could care less, and whatever it is, and run the card, and I don't care, and they just sign off. And then I would have that group in the middle, the normal group, and then I would have a group that no matter how much I did and how many coupons I gave or a discount or over and above, and I just tried my best, I could not make them happy. I just couldn't do it. And yeah, I'm afraid to call that person. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. They're going to light me up. And, you know, if I've had a long day, you know, I just finished getting the heads on, something's not right. Now I'm waiting for a part. I got to tell this customer that, you know, I get it. There's so much, and I don't want to start calling people and hear that. I totally get it. So we have a team that does that. And once that started happening, all these shops started raising their hand going, oh, I want that. How much is that? You guys do that? Boom. I'm doing it. Now, interestingly enough, I don't want to give away the secret sauce, but I'm going to give away a little bit. I really appreciate you for reaching out and having us out and doing that with hospitality and open arms when you just saw me get lit up online on Facebook. So I really appreciate it. Nicole of Empowered Automotive shows she's been using our callbacks for a couple months. Kevin Hughes of Hughes Automotive, both of these folks who are ones who just broke the 300K in a month, also using our callbacks. As I start going through them, David Newman, Harrison Rusk, all these people are hitting these benchmarks. They have somebody making those next day calls for them when they're slammed busy. They have experts doing it, and they have them, they have somebody doing it for them, the stuff they don't want to do. You and I don't. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
I can get behind something like that. I can appreciate that kind of, because that's what we need, right? We need to follow up. And just like I said, I appreciate the negative reviews. Every one negative review you get, there's probably maybe 9 or 8 other ones that just don't want to post something publicly. They just move on. Mm-hmm. But if you were able to actually reach out to them and maybe catch something, right? I think they respect you for it.
Some of them I tried. Some of them, like, so negative and like, wow, man, there's some serious hate thrown out in there. Like, sounds like you've made horrible life decisions. And I'm like, wow. And so I kind of got to pick and choose my time.
Sure.
So I'm like, oh, the ones at the front, you said, Todd, give me a call. I'll listen. You know, I have somebody very well known who's here who reached out and said, hey, let's sit down and let's talk about this auto shop answers, you know. And so that's where I'll be going after this, to sit down with one shop owner. I think he has 4 locations, and just talk about it. You know, he's like, I got questions for you. I'm not jumping on any plane until we talk, you know. Like,
and that's fair, right?
Can you listen to the gearbox? I'm going to speed this along real fast.
Yeah, do that, right?
So,
well, I appreciate your time and coming on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I appreciate
you got to take the bull by the horns
No.
and come in and explain it, because that's the biggest thing. It's one thing to take all that rap and then not want to talk to anybody about it.
Yeah.
It's something different when you get knocked down. You're like, hey, let me at least tell my side of the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, and that's the biggest thing, right?
Yeah.
And if there was one person out there that's listening right now that can take something away from what you've said, I've done my job, and that's all I'm trying to do, right?
I'm so appreciative. I thank you so much for that, and I think that just because I sit I'm the president of the company, and maybe folks see me in a certain way, you can see on this knuckle that that darkness right there.
That was a nice
so
one.
yeah, it's a good one. And so you learn that why do we have bones? That's so when you slip with your die grinder, it doesn't go through your finger. and the thing is, so all across my hands are scars from slipping. And those of you out there who know, if you had to break one of those crank bolts loose on one of those Hondas and you're looking at it, and the only way to do it is you're going to smash your knuckles. That's for me, whatever. Call me a lughead, whatever you want. But
they have weighted sockets now, Todd.
Do they?
I don't know if you knew about that, but
Okay.
they have weighted sockets for that crank nut bolt, but that's all right.
Okay.
I'll watch you break your knuckles.
I'd wrap a rag around my knuckles and and the thing
Old
is,
school, I love it.
I just get it done. I just broke. I want to get it done.
Yeah.
So really at the end of the day, I truly in my heart just want to help, and I want you to not look at the 300K. If you're looking at it the wrong way, it's okay. Let's not talk. If you're looking at it the right way, I want you to give the folks in your life, your consumers, and your technicians who are working in a concrete floor, they're banging their hands up, they're slipping with their die grinder. I want you to give them a great quality of life, because this is the best industry. You know, you and I are not standing on a roof today. We don't have to worry about falling off. We are not in somebody's teeth drilling away. Okay, we're in a great place.
We're in the transportation industry. We make the world go around. That's what we do. So
love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. Thanks for coming in.
Have a great one.